The deadlift, praised by many, executed wrong by many more. But is this lift really that hard to learn and get good at? We'll find out after the intro, so stick around. You surely saw a few deadlifting videos on YouTube at competitions, or you are already performing this exercise, but because of your height, you are either not sure about every detail, can't get into a strong position, or feel unnecessary pain in certain areas even under a light load. I'm pretty sure that at the end of this video you will have most of your questions answered, so shall we? Not only in the gym but also in everyday life, it does matter what kind of shoes you have on. They are not accessories, they are tools that help protect much more than just your feet. Flats keep your spine pretty straight and your calf muscles relaxed. They also help to distribute your body weight more evenly through your whole foot as opposed to pushing it to the balls of the feet. As for deadlifting, the best choice are wrestling shoes, boxing shoes, skateboarding shoes, and Chuck Taylors or any Chuck Taylor knockoff for 3-5 euros if you are broke like me. Pants-wise, you can wear shorts, but in this case you will also need a pair of long deadlifting socks or any type of old knee or elbow sleeves to protect your shins from tearing and bleeding all over the gym. If your wardrobe is full with old and worn joggers or sweatpants, that will do the trick as well, and in this case you will save money on the above mentioned accessories. Same goes for the ladies. You can either wear yoga pants with or without tummy control or any type of shorts with the earlier mentioned accessories. No matter what happens, never wear this shitty combination for any type of exercise. The memory foam of a running shoe in the sole changes its form even under the load of your body weight, and this only gets worse under a heavy squat or deadlift. The pressure will cause deformation, which leads to the instability of the foot and increases the chance for an injury. The capri pants will stick to your sweaty kneecaps, limiting your range of motion and bothering the shit out of you. Combine these two and everybody will know that you suck major ass even without seeing your lifts. In order to handle heavy weights, you must even out the pressure inside of your body with the pressure on the outside, which is the loaded barbell in your hands or on your back. You can achieve that with abdominal breathing. Imagine that this bottle is your body and the cap or the lid is a ventile where the air escapes, aka our mouth. If the inner pressure is lower than the pressure on the outside, this is what happens. On the second clip, I filled the bottle with water and closed the lid properly. Watch the reaction of the bottle while the pressure is even on both sides. I cannot crush the bottle with my hands, neither can the weight crush you if you are using the proper breathing technique combined with the proper execution of the lift. Air is life. Correct bar handling can be recognized based on the last 3 fingers of your hand: pinky, ring and middle finger. The biggest callus will be underneath your pinky, second under the ring finger, and so on. The reason for this is when you are performing the lift, you are using your arms to protect your body, and at the same time you try real hard to bend the bar on your legs. This will keep not only the bar close to your body as possible, but also will keep your shoulders back and your chest up and in front to prevent the early rounding of the back and your form from breaking down. The bar should be always placed in the second third of your palm below your finger joints or knuckles if you look at it from the back of your hands. With the weight getting heavier, the gravity increases as well, and the bar will fight its way out even harder from your hands. In this case, you will have to apply hook grip into your training, where you place your thumb underneath the bar and you grip on it, stopping the bar from slipping out. There are 2 types of grips which you can use: the double overhand and the mixed grip. This will be pretty much a question of personal reference, but I would suggest you go with the double overhand. This would help you as a beginner to get both of your sides used evenly and prevents the evolving of muscle imbalance. Individuals who use mixed grip often forget to switch sides from time to time, and this will strengthen their dominant side on where they grip the bar with the palm facing out while the other side remains weaker. Later on, with heavier weights, there will be also a higher chance for a bicep tear of the dominant arm, since the body automatically activates every muscle and your brain might get a signal that you should curl into that weight. If you decide to go with a mixed grip, switch between your dominant and the other arm between sets to keep both sides even. Stance switch should be based on the width of your hips. For example, Garrett Fear can deadlift crazy weights with an insanely narrow stance, where George Lehman has the same stance as I do, and on the other hand, Brian Shaw has an extreme wide stance. He is still able to handle heavy loads in that position.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Some of you might gasp that I put a leg press video in a deadlift tutorial, but before you draw the biggest knife in the kitchen to cut my throat, hear me out. 8 out of 10 people have a false picture in their minds about the deadlift. You bend over, you pick it up. Just as simple as that. Well, not exactly. If you will tell someone to pick something up from the floor, you will see this picture or a few elderly people doing some field work, bending over, using their lower back with straight, locked out legs. If you try to deadlift heavy that way, you will end up like this at it. The deadlift is not about picking up the weight from the floor. It is more like pushing the floor away from you using your legs. The weight stays where it is, you just push the floor away, just like the lady in the leg press video. And if you rotate the picture, boom! She's performing a deadlift with her lower body. She's technically pushing the floor away and sinking back to it again. This is exactly what we are going to do with a few add-ons. But first, let's pick our equipment. There are 2 types of bars you can find in a commercial fitness center or in a CrossFit or cross-lifting gym. On the left, there's a power bar with knurling in the middle. The perimeter of the bar is slightly wider and has a slower whir than an Olympic bar. You can perform all lifts with this bar, but I would suggest that you, as a beginner, only use it for low bar squatting and bench press and perform the deadlifts either with an Olympic bar on the right or a Texas deadlift bar, which is longer than a regular Olympic bar and bends more, so the weight comes up easier from the floor. Choosing a bar can be a personal reference as well, because with smaller hands it is harder to get a proper grip on a wider bar. Plus, I would not recommend to use an Olympic bar for the bench press, because the world can fool you a couple of times, and if you are not wakeful enough, you can pull your wrist in no time. Always load the bar with calibrated weights. When you get to the point where you are permanently deadlifting from the floor, the bar in this case will be always on the same level. It is a real disturbing experience if you switch gyms and they have only these cheap-ass, non-calibrated bodybuilding plates where you have to rape yourself into position, or even worse, the hexagonal plates on the right. Never deadlift with hexagonal plates. Every time you put them on, they will fall on their edges, roll away, you have to reset position, pull it back, fuck them. Since you are a tall individual, probably with mobility issues, you will need a gym where you can find these jerk boxes. They consist from 5, 4 or even 6 parts, and for the start, you will need the second one from the top or the second lowest one from the pile. I'm pretty sure you will manage and find the correct one. This won't cure your mobility issues, but will help you get started with the deadlifting, and in the meanwhile, you should also work on stretching and the mobility of your body. I will do a video on those exercises as well. No fucking gloves! No, no, no! Your hand's going to sweat heavily, the textile widens the perimeter of the bar and it weakens your grip. The wet textile is going to slip back and forth on your palm, making every lift dangerous. Use chalk all the time. Chalk grants safety and it's sanitary. If you are not allowed to use a chalk in your gym, find another one. Cancel your membership, piss and shit everywhere in the locker room and leave immediately. A good setup is always more important than the lift itself. Why? Because with a flawless setup, the bar will fly up from the floor. First, you must place your spine into a neutral position. From this position, we will extend our legs and press the ground away while holding the bar as close as possible. The hips will come in and the bar comes up. We must pay attention to the fact that our shoulders always have to be higher than our hips, and right before the start of the lift, we need to start bending the bar on our legs by pulling our shoulders together and keeping the chest up, maintaining the same lifting position, and boom! From the front, you can see that when you are performing the lift from the ground, all the parts fall into place. My knees perfectly fall into the crook of my arms, covering and protecting my whole body. Shoulders are activated and pulled back, and there is some clown shoe action going on, since there I'm only using 50 kg for demonstration. Here is why not to deadlift this way. The lower back, glutes and hams become relaxed to let the bar fall as fast as possible. Then the bar hits the ground and bounces up. The momentum from the rebound is what makes the barbell break off of the floor and move up those first few centimeters. The nervous system learns not to produce maximum tension in that portion of the range of motion. In fact, it learns to become relaxed in that position. As a result, you will develop a significant sticking point breaking the barbell off the floor or during the first pull. So your reps might go up, but your maximal strain on the lift won't, because that first pull will always stay weak. Bouncing is a tremendous shock for the body, and it's even worse because you will be in a bad posture most of the time. Since the glutes are harder to recruit, the lower back and hams will take the brunt of the stress. Scorpion will show you the rest.
What did you expect?
Scorpion wins.
Here I am illustrating the same, but this time with 180 kilograms. On the right side you can see that I'm squeezing my glutes at the lockout every time, but isometrically, which means that the muscle hardens but the joint won't move. That is an important thing to remember. Squeezing your glutes and letting your ass tuck under will cause back rounding at the top of the lift, which also can lead to injuries, especially with a heavy load. It's really important to maintain the same correct posture during the whole lift at every repetition to avoid injuries. What goes for 60 kg goes for 230 as well, no exceptions. Obviously, there are these limits when our form will start to break down, our grip gets weak, our upper back starts to round, but as a 90 or 100 kg individual, this shouldn't be present when you are deadlifting your own body weight for 1 or 2 reps. You can see on this last clip that my body is pretty tired after all those reps and my form starts to break down. Yet I am still fighting the weight and concentrating on the correct execution of the lift, and so should you in your next session.
Your soul is mine.